All right, Bill. A lot of people are talking about on videos how are we heading towards another 2008 crash? And me and you talked about this in the past, and we're definitely not heading to a 2008 crash like we had. Okay, and I'm going to explain.
Yeah,
I'm going to explain why
Yeah.
this is totally different. But here's the thing: we could be heading towards something a lot worse than 2008. That's where I'm getting at on this video, okay?
all right.
So I'll explain it all and everything, but I think maybe things could get worse and what's gonna happen, and let me lay out what I'm thinking, and you agree or disagree, and you guys comment, agree or disagree. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. Remember, if you need a real estate agent anywhere in Florida, my phone number is below. Call me or text me, or if you need one nationally. I mean, we built a pretty good network. So, Bill, let's go over 2008 versus 2025, what everyone gets wrong on these videos, okay? I made some notes.
Okay.
In 2008, we had 3 to 4 times more homes on the market than we do today, okay?
Yep.
Today, we have a historically low inventory still, even though it's increasing. Homeowners locked in 2 to 3% rates. Builders underbuilt for decades after the crash. So basically, you know, we were still short because they weren't building a lot. So today, we still need thousands and thousands of homes to catch up.
Correct.
Affordable homes.
We were underbuilt prior to the pandemic, and we are still underbuilt. And we were underbuilt prior to the crash, the economic crash.
Yep. And institutional investors are holding thousands of homes now than they did in 2008. People
Say that one more time.
institutional investors. A lot of investors own thousands of homes still. In 2008, from what I did research,
Yeah, go ahead.
they flooded the market in 2008. They couldn't afford to make the mortgage payments in 2008.
Right, so they dumped everything.
They dumped everything.
Right,
But that's not happening right now.
correct.
Okay.
Right. So and there's a difference between investors and institutional investors.
Right.
Because everybody gets that wrong too. The person or persons that own 3, 4, 5 homes, as an investor, they're not institutional investors. We're talking companies that are holding thousands upon thousands upon thousands of doors.
Right.
Those are institutional investors. That's so people understand that there's a difference, because
totally big
everybody
difference.
gets lumped into an investor side of things.
Yeah,
you know?
no, okay. People are staying in their homes longer these days than they did during the crash.
Right.
Okay. Lending, which was the big culprit in 2008.
Correct.
Okay. No income, no jobs, no assets. If you have a heartbeat, you get a mortgage.
Yep, you got a mortgage. You're good.
And I know that because I was in the mortgage industry. I had a pretty big size brokerage firm. Yes, it wasn't that easy, but there was a lot of programs out there for people
Right.
that were self-employed, stated income, stated assets. Today, credit scores have to be really good, strict debt to income. Trust me.
It's hard.
One of the people, I think they had what's called ratios, and they were on this one loan. They said they couldn't go over 50. They went to 50.5, and they had to sell something or pay something off.
Yeah, they're strict.
Strict. Full documents required.
Mm-hmm.
So self-employed people now, they can't state their income like they did back in 2008. And a lot of people are still going for fixed income. Back then, a lot of people were doing adjustable rate mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In 2008, the reason why I'm going through all this because I really have to lay out the groundwork why 2008 is different from now. Because there's so many videos out there saying it's a 2008 repeat, it's a 2008 repeat.
Right.
And it's not.
Right, and there's a lot of people that are in the market now that weren't affected by 2008 era issues, and they may not know all the ins and outs of what it is versus other than what just, oh, well, in 2008, and then they paint the picture. So going through the history is really good.
Yeah, they're making it sound like we're going through 2008. So in 2008, we had literally millions of foreclosures.
Correct.
Okay? Now, today's foreclosure activity remains historically low.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Yep.
All right? Lenders give more repayment options. So lenders these days are like, hey, what could we do? Like maybe put some payments on the back end or...
Yep, which is called forbearance.
Forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we have a lot fewer adjustable rate mortgages than we did in 2008, so people aren't getting that interest rate shock.
Right.
Okay? And now compared to 2008, people were buying homes because they could state their income and state their assets, but they had no equity. Now, the prices have gone up so fast, there's plenty of equity.
There's equity, yep. Which has kind of put us into a position because the prices went up, gave you equity, we'll talk about that more in a little bit.
All right, so here is something that's similar between 2008 and now that we're going to be talking about, okay? Housing affordability is at a record low. Buyers need $110,000 income to afford a typical home. Median U.S. household income is in the mid-80s. Only 38% of homes are affordable to the median income family. So one of the biggest scenarios that what I'm saying could be worse is a affordability crisis. Because I'm going to get more into it and give you guys more stats, but I think the crisis is not going to be that people are losing their homes because they can't afford the payments. I think we're in a crisis that people just can't even get into a home in the first place in a lot of areas. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Prices jumped much faster than incomes. Home prices went up 40% since 2020.
Yes.
Okay. Income around 15 to 17%. Mm-hmm. So houses went up 40%.
And more in some cases.
Yep. And the average income went up 15 to 17. This creates a structural affordability gap similar to the 2006 and 2007. Believe it or not, after doing this research, we had kind of the same scenario before the big crash in 2008.
Because we had a boom, wages didn't increase, mm-hmm. and we also had inflation on the rise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had inflation on the rise, which at least inflation is cooling. But remember, there's always inflation. That's another big misnomer. That because inflation goes from, 5-6% down to 2%, that we're automatically going to see a reduction in price for things. That's not the same thing. Inflation is still it's core inflation, not just one specific product. Right. So core inflation is at, let's say, I don't know what it is today.
Which affects people's affordability.
That affects people's affordability, but that means let's say it was at 2.5%. I don't know the numbers right now, but let's just say it's at 2.5% because I'm relatively close. That means things are still increasing. It cost by 2.5% year over year. It doesn't mean that things are going to go backwards. We do see the price reduction in things of like food, but that's through other measures. That's not only one measure of inflation, because we're not going backwards. We don't see a negative in front of the inflation number.
Correct. So, but here's something interesting too. Monthly payments have doubled since 2020, okay? In 2020, the average payment was $1,100. Now it's $2,200.
Well, I mean, that makes sense if you went up by 50%.
Rates doubled, yep.
If you went, think about it. Your home, the equity in your home went up. Everybody wants equity, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, yeah, I got equity. Wait a second. When I go to sell, or if really the people that it affects are the people who are buying, and I'm not going to say first-time buyers. We're going to say people who aren't selling a home. Because that could be somebody who's not a first-time buyer.
Yeah, like I was talking to one of my neighbors, and he says, you believe our houses, I looked at Zillow, and our houses dropped like 75 to 100 grand in value. I can't believe we lost 100 grand.
You didn't lose 100 grand.
I said, where are you getting that from? Are you selling your house? He's like, no. He goes, you know what? I don't care if my house drops $500,000. That means my taxes have to drop.
Exactly.
Because they'll get reassessed. Because I'm not selling. I'll worry about it when I'm ready to sell.
And I'm pretty sure, because I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I know who you're talking about. He paid way less for his house than what even the price is today after a $100,000 reduction. So he's still up.
So he's like, you don't care what your house is valued as? Like I said, no, I absolutely don't. He's like, I couldn't get past him understanding that concept. I said, why would I care what my house is valued at? Because I'm not selling it. Okay? So I'm not planning to sell it for a very, very long time. And if my value really drops dramatically, like it did in 2008, okay, then I'm going to go to the county and ask for a reassessment.
Right.
So I'm actually saving money. Okay. And then they're like, well, what if you want to sell? I said, but the same thing. It's like, if I sell high, I have to buy high. Unless I'm moving out of the area.
You sell low, you're buying low.
So prices increase, insurance and taxes and maintenance soared, okay? So Florida affordability is amplified, okay? This is one of our crises here. Insurance premiums have exploded. In 2007, 2008, we did have insurance problems, okay? Believe it or not, we had them, but not at this magnitude. The other problem, too, that might make things worse, especially here in Florida, and tell me if you agree or disagree, is since the values jumped so much because my neighbor wants it to jump so much, which is stupid in its own sense, his taxes went up dramatically. Okay? Because, believe it or not, I found out he's not homesteaded. He's not homesteaded. Yeah, he says, I'm not homesteaded. I was like, what? He has a property in another state. I believe it's New York, and they have a program that's like homestead. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
So his values could go up to 10%. So his values, because we just paid our tax bills, his was jumping up 9.9, 10% a year. So he has a house, square footage, pretty much equal as mine, but he's literally paying 3 times more taxes.
Oof. Because he's not homesteaded.
But at the same time, he wants his value to go up, but he's not planning to sell. I don't understand that concept. CDD and HOA assessments have increased dramatically because of insurance. Hurricanes, higher risk, higher premiums. Insurance is killing everybody.
And I would say on the CDD and the HOA thing, you're going to see those because you don't have a normal HOA. You have a pretty low key because you don't have a lot of amenities.
Right.
So like in my neighborhood, we have a ton of amenities. We have a CDD and an HOA, and ours has remained very, very, very stable. So it's just where we see some of those stats, so people understand, because I think that's important. Where the biggest hit on those are the coastal properties, again, that are on the water, not like where we're at here.
Right.
On the water, and condos.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
what's making those things, that's where they're getting these numbers from, because general HOAs and general CDDs have not gone up that much, because CDDs are just part of your county taxes.
Yeah, not for nothing, but with our dues, we did get a palm tree last year someplace, I heard.
Oh, cool.
Okay. But a lot of people are getting stretched thin, so it's a crisis that is a lot harder to correct than 2008, okay? What could actually break this market, okay? One is, we talked about the insurance crisis, insurance companies pulling out, roof ages, okay? In 2008, in Florida, we weren't really talking about roof ages as much as we're talking about now.
No, I don't even think it was an issue back then.
No, we were like, oh, your roof's 25 years old?
It ain't leaking? Good.
Yeah, but now it's like, oh, it's 15 years old? You need a new roof.
Ooh, yeah, we're going to have to work on that.
Do you know that one of my clients, I just did the inspection today, they got a new roof. I'm like, oh, I was looking at your permits because I have to pull a permit. I was like, you only had a roof put on 12, 13 years ago. He goes, yeah, my insurance company wanted a new roof.
Wow. Interesting.
It was nuts. And I'm like, flood and hurricane from 2008 till now, crazy. You know, this is all stuff that's creating a crisis that some people, including me, saying could be a lot worse than 2008. Because there was a survey done, and we're going to do a video on this, but there was a survey done that almost 50% of Floridians are thinking about moving out. Not because they don't love Florida. I mean, I love Florida, you know. It's because of situations like this. Do you agree with this one? Affordability collapse. Buyers are dropping out of the market. Sellers are getting fewer showings. Price reductions are increasing nationwide. New construction is competing hard for undercutting resales. I threw four of them.
I was like, that's 4 whole separate topics.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yes or no? Buyers are dropping out of the market.
Buyers always drop out of the market, and so do sellers.
Okay, but is it getting worse?
No.
Okay, that's your opinion. All right, so tell me if this is true or not. Price reductions are increasing nationwide.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yes. So let's look at what is a price reduction?
A price reduction is when somebody first puts it on the market and they're like, hey, I'm not getting showings, I got to reduce the price because they were waiting for that freaking unicorn
Magic buyer.
Magic buyer that said, hey, I want your house. I'll pay an extra 80, 100 grand for it.
Because it happened down the street a year and a half, 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
All right.
So, wait. In your market, for our viewers, in your market, was there ever price reductions on a sale prior to 2019? Then I could speak to our market, and that answer is yes.
But is it the same amount of price reductions as we have today?
So that would require us to know the percentages. So right now, it depends on the market you're in. So there's a section in Clearwater that the average price reduction from list price to close price is 95%. You go through the county, Pinellas County in general, is right around 98%, 98.2% list to sale price.
Okay.
Is on the average. On the average, we're just doing averages. That's every home that sells in Pinellas County, residential home. If you want to make that number look really, really bad, add in condos. So this is where I say we have to remember that we've got to segment markets out because they're two totally different animals. But if you just take an average, that way we get all of it across because it's hard to break everything apart. But it's important to break things apart when you're looking at sale prices when you're going to list your house. You have to. You got to look at your market.
Yeah, condos are just, there's different animals.
It's hard. It's a whole different world.
All right, let me ask you this one. New construction, do you think new construction is competing and undercutting resale homes?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing it by massive incentives.
Yeah, rate buy downs, closing cost credits, free upgrades, things like that.
4.25% was the deal that we got under contract. I know we talked about it on a different video a few weeks ago, right before the holidays. 4.25%. That's not points from the buyer. That's what the seller offered in the closing concessions. That's insane. That made a huge difference. I mean, that's a couple $100 a month on your mortgage payment from what the average is. So when you go, because I had this conversation, and when you're looking at competition, because they have a house to sell, when you're looking at competition, I can go 3.1 miles down the road, and yeah, the houses are a little bit more expensive, because people just look at the numbers. But when I'm comparing 6.5% to 4.25%, potentially, depending on when they're running their deals, that's huge. Why wouldn't I just go there and buy? It's a little, because you have more buying power there. Plus, rate buy downs, or not rate buy downs, but closing costs, concessions and things. It's really hard to compete against new construction if you have those big builders, in your area, which a lot of people don't. But
okay. Another thing that people are talking about, and I kind of agree with this, that it might be a short-term thing, but it might be bad. In 2008, we didn't have, the job market was getting soft, in some areas, but we didn't have the AI, what's happening now in AI. And AI, from a lot of articles and research I'm doing, it's growing at such a speed that people don't even realize how fast it's growing. Like, I'm not talking about, okay, in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be able to do this. I'm talking about in 2 or 3 months, it'll be able to do this. You know what I mean? AI is starting to take people's jobs, which in return, since they're losing their jobs and it's hard to transition, they might lose short-term, they might lose their jobs, and now they have even a worse affordability problem keeping the house that they have with the prices they are. You agree or disagree?
I think that AI is one of those unknown factors that really is affecting our economy overall. While in one sense it's creating jobs, like massive amounts of jobs. Think of jobs that you could get into. And I'm not even talking tech jobs. We're talking, look at the data centers, the construction industry, but that's a short-term bump, right? That's just going to pump up the economy for a little bit while they build out data centers over the next couple of years. Electricians, same thing like that. But tech jobs are going to go through the roof because you're going to need them. AI can't build the data center. AI can't maintain the data center and things like that yet. I'm sure it's coming. But that's the fear of the AI. Jobs that it's taking, call centers. But how many call centers are actually here in the United States? Seriously, how many call centers are here in the United States? So when we look at things, I think we have to look at what it's happening. Where do we see it most? And it's not even AI. This happened before the AI boom. Because remember, AI was like, what was it, 1985 was the first technical artificial intelligence, was that little robot that drove around with the tubes on it.
I agree with you.
Where do you see it? Where do you see it? Self-checkout lines.
Yeah. Even Amazon packaging right now, the robots are
They're having
doing it.
robots sort the
yeah.
packages. But the post office was doing that for 20 years. So that's nothing new. Like
Yeah.
we act like this is something new, but the Tampa Postal Center has been doing that since the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at things like when you go to your favorite Taco Bell, your place.
Yeah.
How many workers are there? 2?
Yeah, we're like, nobody's at the counter.
Because nobody's at the counter. You hit the buttons.
An iPad. Yeah, there's an iPad.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not AI, but that's just the beginning.
But that's what I'm
It's
just
scary.
saying is, okay, let's go back to the original question of this. I explained to everybody why this is not a 2008 crash, but it could be something worse. It's the perfect storm. This is my opinion. It's the perfect storm between can't afford the home prices, can't afford the insurance, can't afford the inflation, can't afford the affordability crisis, and to throw on top of that, an AI is hurting people's jobs, at least for the short term until people find new fields. Okay? I know 3 people or 4 people that actually lost their jobs and they were replaced with AI. They were actually replaced by AI. Because they know, I said, did somebody else take your job? They're like, no, AI is doing my job. They don't need me anymore.
That's a real thing. And everybody needs to wake up to that. Everybody.
So, yes. So, are we having a 2008 crash?
No.
No. But could we be heading through something worse? I think so. Between, like I just said, cost of everything, AI, political instability, like nobody freaking gets along with anybody anymore. I think it's the perfect storm. Is there solutions? Yes. Are the solutions going to take longer to fix? Yes. But I just don't see them coming in the near future. That was my closing statement. What do you think?
I think that if we live in constant fear of everything getting ready to happen, you're not living your life at all.
Oh, I agree with you, but I wanted to tell everybody that this is not a 2008 crash, but if a lot of people do live in fear, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it could create a crisis. You're more on the positive end. You've always been on the positive end.
I've also seen a lot more death than most people, and it's like you have to live positively because I've seen so much negativity.
He's seen death because he was a fireman. Okay?
But you got to understand.
Well,
that's fine. But I mean, it could be soldiers, it could be policemen, it could be a lot of different things. Doctors, nurses. They see a lot of negativity, and you have to remain positive. Everybody really should try to be as positive as possible. I'm sorry. But at the same token, if you live in fear that something could happen down the road, eventually it will. Right? Like there's always something that could happen, but I'm saying that you shouldn't allow that to take your dream of ownership if that's your dream.
I watch YouTube.
You might have to work a little harder.
Hey, I could give you guys YouTube channels that for last 4 years they were saying the market's gonna crash, market's gonna crash, market's gonna crash.
Just keep saying it long enough, it'll happen.
Every video they talk about is the market crash.
I know.
Eventually,
Right.
And now they're starting to say, look at this number. See, I was right. See, I was right. You should have listened to me. See, I was right.
Yep.
But I was like, dude, you've been saying that for 4 years.
Right. You just keep saying it over and over again. Eventually, you're right. Even a blind squirrel will find a nut once in a while.
Yeah, like I have a brand new vehicle, but I'll guarantee you, if I keep driving, eventually it's going to break. It's going to break.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. But anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think we're heading towards something that's far worse than the 2008 real estate crash? Anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor, really consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. Again, if you need a real estate agent, my phone number is below. And watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you. It's a really good one. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.